Welcome to this week's new book releases. We're talking about the books coming out October 21st, and there are several intriguing titles to put on your radar. I'm Morgan. If this happens to be your first time here, we're going to have timestamps between each genre that we talk about, so I hope that you can find one to pick up. First up this week is going to have to be fantasy because Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne is coming out. This is the conclusion to the Bloodsworn saga, which is a Norse-inspired mythology and a Viking tale following three main characters from Shadow of the Gods forward, which that was the first book, in this world where there is magic and there were gods, but a huge battle left the planet scarred, and also it lifts their bodies, and they were able to make magical things, instruments and tools and weapons from the bodies. Most notably, they make collars to be able to control and enslave the descendants of the gods. It's interesting and intricate, and there are battles and magic. Each of the descendants have this slightly different ability to them depending on which god they're descended from. So not just like magic able to use. There's only like one type I think that are able to use actual magic. The others have something else, and I've been talking about this book for too long, so we should really move on to our next title. The next one up is said to be for fans of The Princess Bride and Gideon the Ninth. Not entirely sure how those two correlate, but yes. It's Metal from Heaven by August Clark. He who controls Icarite controls the world. A malleable metal more durable than steel, Icarite is a toxic natural resource fueling national growth, and ambitious industrialist Jan Chauncey helms production of this miraculous ore. Working at his foundry is an underclass of destitute workers struggling to get better wages and proper medical treatment for those exposed to Icarite's debilitating effects since birth. So this is going to have the class warfare and industrial world becoming different. Rebellion, I do believe. And it says political fantasy, and there's also going to be a romance aspect. I don't know, it calls it a bloody lesbian revenge tale. So I don't know if that's a romance twist thing that it's supposed to have. I don't know. Another conclusion, though, is going to be to The Witch's Compendium of Monsters duology, Monstrous Nights by Genovia Dimva. And this is supposed to be, it's The Witcher meets Naomi Novak. We're following a witch who is she defeats monsters, but there's one she can't defeat, which is the Tsar of Monsters. And it says she's defied him one too many times, and now he's hunting her. Betrayed to him by someone close to her, Corsair's only hope is to trade her shadow, the source of her powers, for illegal passage across the wall to Belograd, where monsters can't follow. So shadow magic, or you have to have a shadow to use magic in this one, which is interesting. Since this is a duology, though, it should be able to wrap up very quickly. Also, I've heard that this gives vibes for fall and that it was good, so maybe. Our next one I do believe is a standalone. This is a historical fantasy, The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door by H.G. Perry. All they needed to break the world was a door and someone to open it. Also, this should have a split timeline. Camford, 1920. Gilded and glittering, England's secret magical academy is no place for Clover, a commoner with neither connections nor magical blood. She tells herself she has fought her way there only to find a cure for her brother Matthew, one of the few survivors of a fairy attack on the battlefields of World War I, which left the doors to fairy country sealed, the study of magic banned, and its victims cursed. So we have her making friends at this academy in 1920, and then at a future point when something has gone down, and now they're having to meet again. Our next one up is also a bit in the historical fantasy vein. This would be the next book in the Mirror Realm cycle that started with The Pomegranate Gate. This is The Republic of Salt by Ariel Kaplan. It's supposed to be a lyrical Inquisition-era Jewish epic fantasy that weaves history, myth, and magic into an exquisite tale of fate, legacy, and friendship. I do believe we're following two characters as when they're being displaced from their homes, they somehow enter this other realm, or one of them does, and both of them are being hunted by this Inquisition type of thing. One of them has magic and the other one has a sacred object, I believe, to this other side. Then we have a short story, which is The Wood at Midwinter by Susanna Clarke, an enchanting, beautifully illustrated story set in the world of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. A church is a sort of wood. A wood is a sort of church. They're the same thing, really. 19-year-old Meredith Scott is an unusual girl. She can talk to animals and trees, and she is only ever happy when she's walking in the woods. One snowy afternoon, out with her dogs and Apple the pig, Meredith encounters a blackbird and a fox. As darkness falls, a strange figure enters their midst, and the path of her life is changed forever. And our final one in fantasy is The Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook by Matt Denneman. This is book 3 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series that is being trad published this week with its new covers. This is following Carl and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Buttercup, as they are trying to survive, where the world has kind of been taken over by aliens and turned into a dungeon level. It's a lit RPG, so they must try to survive the dungeon and get fans because this is all being displayed for the entertainment of the universe. And one day we'll start this series, and I shook the camera again. Then we move into sci-fi with the 4th installment of the Area X series. The Southern Reach series. Yes, it's Absolution by Jeff Vandermeer, which he said that he went back to the series because he never felt fully closed, as there were a few mysteries that had gone unsolved, some key points of view never aired, there were stories left to tell, there remained questions about who had been complicit. Nope. Probably shouldn't read that if we haven't read the other ones. It's structured in 3 parts, each recounting a new expedition. Absolution is a brilliant, beautiful, and even ever terrifying plunge into the unique and fertile literary territory. There are some long-awaited answers here, to be sure, but also more questions and profound new surprises. It is the final word on one of the most provocative and popular speculative fiction series of our time. That's according to their publishers, at least, so. Moving into the YA space, we have Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. Snowflakes are falling, invitations are arriving, and holiday magic is swirling in the capital city of the Meridian Empire. It's set after the Caraval series. It says it's a delightful novella will take readers on the ultimate holiday adventure full of clockwork boys, poison candy, impish snow globes, merriment, and, if Tella gets her way, love. It's also an illustrated. The illustrator was Rosie Fowwinkle. Then we have the conclusion to the Scarlet Alchemist duology, Blood Orchard by Kylie Lee Baker. In this one, it says it's an alternate Tang Dynasty China where a poor biracial girl with the ability to raise the dead gets caught up in a dangerous political games of the royal family. As in this world, alchemists can make gold and jewels that the wealthy eat to stay young forever. And our main character, Xylan, dreams of being the royal alchemist. This way she can provide for her family. For the Blood Orchard, it says, whatever power you think you have is an illusion. Whatever your dreams are, they belong to me. And wherever you run, I am already there waiting for you. We move from there, though, into Romantasy with Bloodguard by Cissy Robinson. 100 years, tens of thousands of gladiators, and today only one will rise. Everything in the kingdom of Arrow is a lie. Leith Grey thought coming to this new land and volunteering to fight in the gladiator arena, vicious, bloodthirsty tournaments where only the strongest survive, would earn him enough gold to save his dying sister. He thought there was nothing left to lose. He was wrong, and they took everything: his hope, his freedom, his very humanity. We move from there into a cozy mystery set in the Christmas time. Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret by Benjamin Stevenson. My name's Ernest Cunningham. I used to be a fan of reading Golden Age murder mysteries until I found myself with a haphazard career getting stuck in the middle of real life ones. I'd hoped this Christmas that any self-respecting murderer would kick their feet up and take it easy over the holidays. I was wrong. This is book 3 in the Ernest Cunningham mystery series that started with Everyone in My Family is a Murderer. We're going to end the week with horror. Memorials by Richard Shizamar. 1983. 3 students from a small college embark on a week-long road trip to film a documentary on the roadside memorials for their American Studies class. The project starts out as a fun adventure with long stretches of empty road and nightly campfires where they begin to open up to one another. But as they venture deeper into the Appalachian backwoods, the atmosphere begins to darken. They notice more and more of the memorials feature a strange, unsettling symbol hinting at a sinister secret. Our final one is the sequel to The Watchers. This is Stay in the Light by A.M. Shrine. You may have escaped, but you'll never be free. The first book says you can't see them, but they can see you. This forest isn't charted on any map. Every car breaks down at its tree line. Mina's is no different. Left stranded, she's forced into the dark woodland only to find a woman shouting, urging Mina to run to a concrete bunker. As the door slams behind her, the building is besieged by screams. Like, oh my goodness. Creepy. And I do believe this is getting an adaptation on one of the streaming services, if I read the thing right. That's all I have for you on this week's list. If there's any that I didn't mention that you want people to know about, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Maybe, though, you found a new one to add to your TBR list or go pick up this week, or that you might be highly anticipating and now you know it's coming out. I just hope you're finding something awesome to read today. You'll subscribe if you like this video and come back for the future ones. I'll see you in the next one.